The wedding hall glowed like a dream stitched from white and gold. Crystal chandeliers hung low, scattering light across polished marble floors. Rows of guests sat shoulder to shoulder, dressed in silk and celebration, their faces lifted toward the aisle where the bride stood waiting. Soft music floated through the air, slow and romantic, carefully chosen to mark the beginning of a perfect life. Aisha stood beneath the arch of roses, her fingers curled tightly around her bouquet. Beneath the heavy veil, her breath came shallow and quick. The dress was beautiful, too beautiful, layers of fabric weighing on her like the expectations of everyone watching. She smiled because she was supposed to. Because this was the moment she had practiced for her entire life. Then the lights flickered. At first, people thought it was part of the effect. A soft murmur rippled through the crowd. Aisha's smile faltered. A sharp scent cut through the perfume and flowers, burning plastic. She turned her head slightly, confused, just as a spark cracked above the stage. Fire caught the decorative drapes. In seconds, flames raced upward, hungry and fast, climbing toward the ceiling. Heat slammed into the room. Someone screamed. Then another. The music died abruptly, replaced by panic. Guests leapt from their seats, knocking over chairs, clutching children, pushing toward the exits. Aisha froze. Her body refused to move. The veil trembled as hot air surged around her. Smoke stung her eyes, blurred her vision. She lifted her skirt instinctively, and screamed as fire kissed the hem of her dress. "Help me!" Her voice cracked, thin and desperate, swallowed by chaos. She searched the crowd for the man she was supposed to marry. He was gone, disappeared into the stampede. The doors near the stage refused to open, jammed by fallen decor and panicked bodies. Flames climbed higher. The veil ignited. Aisha dropped to her knees, coughing, hands shaking as she tried to beat out the fire. The world narrowed to heat, noise, and terror. She thought, this can't be how it ends. Outside the rushing crowd, one man stopped. Omar, just a catering assistant, just a single father trying to earn an honest living, heard her scream cut through the noise. He turned back. For one heartbeat, fear rooted him in place. Then he ran toward the fire. Everything changed in that moment. Omar stumbled out of the wedding hall with the rest of the crowd, lungs burning as he sucked in fresh air. People were crying, shouting names, clutching each other in disbelief. Sirens wailed somewhere in the distance. For a brief second, he thought he was safe. Then he heard it. A scream, raw, broken, and unmistakably human, cut through the chaos behind him. Omar froze. His heart slammed against his ribs. Every instinct told him to keep moving, to survive, to get home to his daughter who would be waiting for him with her school bag still on her back. He turned anyway. Smoke poured from the doors as he forced his way back inside. The heat hit him like a wall. His eyes watered instantly, vision blurring. Someone had dropped a fire extinguisher near the entrance. Omar grabbed it, his hands shaking, and ran toward the stage. The hall was unrecognizable now. Flames crawled across the ceiling. Decorations collapsed in burning pieces. Through the thick smoke, he saw her. The bride was on the floor, tangled in scorched fabric, coughing violently. Fire licked the edges of her dress like it was alive. Without thinking, Omar sprayed the extinguisher, white foam blasting across the flames. The fire hissed and recoiled. He threw himself down beside her, ripping off his jacket and smothering the remaining fire with his bare hands. Pain exploded through his skin. He gritted his teeth but didn't stop. "Stay with me," he said, his voice hoarse. "Please." Her eyes fluttered open, glassy and terrified. She tried to speak, but only smoke came out. Omar tore a tablecloth from a nearby table and wrapped it around her, shielding her face and hair. The ceiling groaned overhead. A beam crashed down behind them, sending sparks everywhere. The main exit was gone, blocked by fire and debris. Panic surged in Omar's chest. For a terrifying moment, he thought they were trapped. Then he spotted a side window, cracked from the heat. Omar lifted her into his arms. She was lighter than he expected, too light. Each step felt like running through fire itself. His lungs screamed. His legs shook. He reached the window, kicked out the shattered glass, and turned his body to shield her as he climbed through. They hit the ground outside hard. Cool air rushed over them. Firefighters swarmed in. Omar collapsed beside her, vision fading, one thought echoing in his mind before darkness took him. My daughter. Omar woke to the steady beep of a heart monitor and the sharp smell of antiseptic. For a moment, he thought he was still trapped in smoke, his chest tight, throat raw. He tried to move and pain shot through his hands and arms. A groan escaped his lips. A nurse hurried to his side, gently pressing him back down. Easy, she said softly. You're safe now, safe. The word felt strange. Memories rushed in, fire, screams, the weight of the bride in his arms. Omar's eyes widened. The bride, he croaked. Did she? She's alive, the nurse said quickly. Because of you. Omar closed his eyes. Relief washed over him so hard it left him trembling. He turned his face toward the pillow, trying to hide the tears burning his eyes. He thought of his daughter again, how close she had come to losing him. The guilt settled heavy in his chest. News of the fire spread fast. By the next day, reporters crowded the hospital corridors. Doctors and nurses whispered when Omar was wheeled past. They called him a hero. He didn't feel like one. He felt tired. He felt afraid. 3 days later, Aisha asked to see him. She was wheeled into his room, her once perfect hair cut short, bandages covering her arms and neck. But her eyes were clear, strong. When she saw Omar, they filled with tears. You came back, she whispered. Omar nodded slowly, unsure what to say. I heard you scream, he replied. Her hand trembled as she reached for his bandaged fingers. Everyone ran, she said, voice breaking. Even the man I was supposed to marry. Silence filled the room. I thought I was going to die, Aisha continued. And then I saw you. Omar swallowed hard. I have a daughter, he said quietly. I couldn't imagine someone leaving her behind. The words stayed between them, simple, heavy, true. Outside the room, life changed. Donations arrived from strangers moved by the story. When people learned Omar was a single father working multiple jobs, support poured in. School supplies, food, letters written in careful handwriting thanking him for his courage. Aisha's family came next, wealthy, influential, grateful beyond words. They offered Omar money he immediately refused. But when they spoke of his daughter's future, education, stability, his resistance softened. I'll accept it, he said finally, for her. The scars never disappeared, but neither did the strength that came with them. Months after the fire, sunlight streamed through the windows of a quiet rehabilitation center as Aisha took her first unassisted steps down the hallway. Every movement hurt, every breath reminded her of what she had lost. The mirror showed someone new, skin marked by flame, hair shorter, confidence rebuilt piece by piece. She did not look away. The wedding that once defined her life was gone. So was the man who vanished when the fire began. In the silence that followed the disaster, Aisha realized something painful but freeing. She had survived alone, but she had been saved by a stranger who owed her nothing. That truth reshaped her future. Using her family's resources, Aisha launched a foundation dedicated to fire safety in public venues. Wedding halls, schools, community centers, places meant for joy, not tragedy. Her voice, once trembling behind a veil, now carried authority. When she spoke, people listened. Across the city, Omar's life changed in quieter ways. With the support he never expected, he left his exhausting shifts behind and opened a small cafe near his daughter's school. It wasn't fancy, just warm, honest, and filled with the smell of fresh bread. Every morning, his daughter sat at the counter, swinging her legs, proud beyond words. Are you still a hero? She asked one day. Omar smiled softly. I'm just your dad. The nightmares faded slowly. Some nights he still woke up gasping, hands burning in memory. But every morning, his daughter's laughter reminded him why he had turned back that night. On the anniversary of the fire, Aisha visited the cafe. No cameras, no speeches, just gratitude. She placed a small plaque on the wall near the door. When everyone ran, one man returned. Omar stood silently, emotions thick in his throat. They did not talk much. They didn't need to. Some bonds were forged in fire and didn't require words. As she left, Aisha turned back once more. You didn't just save my life, she said. You changed it. Omar watched her walk away, then looked down as his daughter slipped her hand into his. Outside, the city moved on. unaware of how close it had come to tragedy. From ashes and fear, courage had risen. And because one father chose to run toward the flames, many lives burned brighter afterward.